right. Welcome everyone to the Late Game Link.
Late Game Link.
Late Game Link.
I'm Derek.
Yeah, I'm Robbie. This is episode 1.
Official first episode.
Yeah.
We have been talking about doing this for a while and have even recorded some things, but in terms of actually packaging and getting it out, this is going to be our first thing.
Yes.
So
first release, and we added the video before we didn't have the video.
Yeah. Although you may be listening to this via audio, which is also fine.
Of course.
You're allowed. So
we just need to be able to make TikTok clips.
Yeah. That's kind of how you do it these days.
So yeah, I guess let's get into quick kind of the name, Late Game Link, kind of what the podcast is about, a little intro, I guess. So I guess I can start us here. So, me and Derek are both, I guess, like nerdy people. And we actually met, more later on into our lives than, most people I feel like meet like a really good friend. And it was cool once we started getting to know each other, becoming friends. We started realizing like, oh, this person has a ton of like nerdy hobbies. And we quickly realized that a lot of them were even like foreign to each other, right? So some of the things that you're really into, I never kind of once ever gave a look to in the past. Like, yeah, I know you're big in like comic books. That was something that I never gotten into. So it was cool for us to almost be putting each other on to different stuff. And that's kind of like, that was the main idea behind making a podcast, was the cool idea of you can have people that overlap so heavily in things they like with video games and movies and books, but we still have so much that we felt like was fun to discuss with each other. I'm sure for you it's fun getting a take from somebody who has like never read a comic before, and you're just like, well, I want to see your first impression on this.
Yeah. And also, I mean, for like a concrete example, like for years I was I would say D&D sympathetic. I was someone who like had an appreciation from afar, but like I tried a couple things in the past and never really worked. And it's like through your friends' like passion for this sort of thing that you maybe unlock appreciation for it. So like, now like I love D&D and I've like DM'd a few times, and that's like a growing interest of mine. So I feel like we talked about like doing a podcast to not just like share stuff, but like just talk about the things that we are interested in, and holding like a space for that. And,
it's like a nice creative outlet that we can do every week. And try to get other people, other friends that we know that'll probably be listening or watching this now, kind of get their involvement. I already know we have a couple excited individuals to finally see the first episode. But yeah, that was kind of the reason why for the podcast, and specifically the name, the Late Game Link. It's kind of a pun on late game, something late game in a video game. It's like we met later in life, and it's been really fun, doing all this nerdy stuff together. And yeah, we just came up with Late Game Link. Hopefully it sticks.
Yeah.
Late Game Link up. I don't know.
If you're listening to this podcast and it's labeled a different name than that, hey, go with it.
Don't worry about it.
But I do
There's
like
no war in Bossing said.
Yeah, but I do like the name. We love a double entendre. You know what?
We're open to any and all criticism and advice.
Yeah. and send it. Send your hate mail. I was going to say...
We're 6 minutes in. You're saying send the
there's
hate mail.
probably... I'm sure, listen, somebody's got a pitchfork that they're sharpening.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, introduction and all that, I know we talked about just kind of giving an explanation maybe about your lore within like nerdy spaces, what your interests are. Yeah,
kind of what we had done up until this point before we met, and kind of what solidified our likes and interests. And these are the kind of topics that I feel like you will see us heavily kind of always fall back to.
Yeah.
Definitely beginning, like growing up, I was huge into Pokemon. The Game Boy Color was the first, I guess, handheld console, or any console that I ever played. playing like Pokemon Red and Blue. So that was big for me. Then PlayStation, getting a PlayStation. I'm a huge PlayStation stan.
Yeah.
I was that kid getting in arguments with people about how PlayStation is better than Xbox growing up in middle school. The PS3, Xbox 360 era was a war zone. And especially for a PlayStation lover. But so yeah, big into all different types of PlayStation exclusive games. So I was huge into like Crash Bandicoot, like Spyro the Dragon, and then going on to like later consoles, you have, your Ratchet and Clanks, like your Jack and Daxters, and then even like the Uncharted series, God of War. I mean, all of those that you've heard, they're like the big staples of PlayStation. I have played most of them. I've owned I still own every console, every PlayStation console. So that was big for me. I think also, book-wise, because again, in this podcast, we're kind of doing all types of media. And again, there's going to be times where we might talk heavily more about like video games for a couple weeks, but we do try to include everything that you could put somebody onto.
Yeah.
Book-wise, I was always big into like fantasy and sci-fi, that kind of stuff. So like you have your classics like the Percy Jacksons and like the Harry Potters. Like I have never read a novel that wasn't that sort of fantasy world, I guess, or magic or mythology, I guess, any of that kind of stuff. So that was usually the books that I was like reading, and then even into now, my buddy Raleigh, if you're listening, he's one of the people that back in years ago have even put me on to like the Red Rising series. So that's another example of like, when you're a kid, you're reading Percy Jackson and those kind of books, and then now still kind of enjoying those types of books. PC games, I got more into later in life, which I'm very happy about. I feel like I've been enjoying that a lot. I would say my heaviest influence with this podcast and just myself with all of, what I liked growing up will probably be video games. I feel like I will 75% of the time talk about video games. Mm-hmm. But of course we have that other stuff to talk about. And I guess finally, also shout out to Raleigh and the Turner family. They put me on to D&D at a young age, which I feel like now it's super cool because it's like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like, not laughed at or looked down on anymore. Which
you
is
paid
nice.
your dues. You were in the trenches for a while. You can say it.
Oh yeah, we definitely were playing before it got like as mainstream as it is. I mean, there wasn't even like Critical Role and like stuff like that. So, D&D, all types of video games. That'll be my contribution. But I think we'll surprise each other.
Yeah.
With, every once in a while, there might be like, oh, I've actually heard of that comic, or who knows.
For sure.
But that's kind of like what was ingrained in me growing up, and like what I'm still into. Mm-hmm. So what about you?
Yeah. I mean, as we've talked about, I have been real big into comic books, like most of my life, and I didn't have like a parent that was into comics or anybody that was in my life. I just like was really big on like, early mid 2000s internet and wikis, and I would like go down wiki rabbit holes on like characters, and I really wanted to learn more. And so I started to buy comics, and I was that kid that would be like on the bus. This is so funny. I don't know if I like talked about this much, but like I would be like bringing comics to school, and then like on the bus like sharing them with people to read on the way so we could talk, and I was like sharing. Oh, wow. I mean, and I got people from all walks of life to like engage with comics, probably because I was annoying, and maybe they were just indulging me. Like there's some of that, but like I feel like I was able to really connect with people when I was like young and getting into comics.
So you were pitching comics ever before the podcast?
I love sharing this shit, and I love being like able to talk about this sort of thing, especially because all the stuff we're talking about, there's not one right way to feel about it. There's not one interpretation, and there's like various layers. So I don't know. I feel like in general, just if we're talking about our frame of reference and our perspective on this stuff, like I like the idea of applying like critical literary lens to this stuff. You know, I feel like a lot of people really discount comic books, especially, are a victim of this, but like video games, like having anything of narrative value to say. And I mean, we both know that that's not the case. Like there's such profound things can come from this sort of thing. And
I think I'm glad you said that, actually, because you know, starting a podcast, you look at what podcast do you like to listen to and what you see out there, and I feel like there's a big push right now in the kind of comedy sphere, right? So like a lot of and I enjoy it, like there's a lot of podcasts that, you know, I've seen on like TikTok and stuff that listen to, and they talk about video games and movies and stuff, or like you know, there's one that they talk about like Marvel stuff, but you can tell it's very heavily leaning on like a comedic type value of it. And I like the idea of this holding a more I guess serious tone. I guess maybe not like super, not serious, that might not be the greatest word, but you know, I feel like we really want to do like deep dives into things, and it's a lot more like discussion based and I guess more profound than us trying to like crack jokes.
Yeah,
which both are fine.
Hey,
both formats are
jokes
great,
are great, you know. And when I say that too, like maybe the word is substantive. You know, like there's substance to this stuff, and like not all. There are a ton of terrible comic books. There are a ton of terrible video games that maybe we'll talk about on this podcast to a degree. But like, you know, I feel like that's
some hot takes.
That's the fun a little bit though of like. I feel like when I'm having a good time in like nerd geek spaces, I think it just comes from the fact that like we all recognize the potential of this thing, and like so I'm looking forward to talking about this. You know, in terms of like maybe like a rough goal, not a goal, but like in the outside of doing this, we're doing this for fun, and we're doing this to talk about our interests and share that with like a wider audience. If I like even just like could recommend something that somebody gets something out of, I feel like that's a win. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely. Like a win, and ultimately why I think we're kind of sharing this in general. So,
and even to the point where if we have people consistently listening, and I think it's a win if they put us onto something. You know, like if they listen enough, they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, Derek's the real big Marvel guy. He likes this. Like, oh, I really think he liked this book or something like that. You know. That's a win too, because not only are we always kind of like, oh, you got to check this out, you got to see this, but like, I feel like putting ourselves out there and getting it from an audience, however big or small that audience may be, like that's cool. You know, I'm excited for that.
And you know, if you are recommended something, or I receive a recommendation, say, you know, and I don't like it, that's not like a bad thing, right? Like we are in a real. Like, we're in a time where I feel like it's just important to recognize that, like, engagement with something that's bad is not a net negative. You know what I mean? Like, you can not like something and still walk away with something. Even, like, just understanding, hey, maybe I didn't like this aspect of this. So, I don't know. I'm excited to get in and talk about things, to not always agree, to not always, you know, be on the same page about something.
I'm curious when that'll pop up.
So
I feel like we are mostly always on the same page. But we need to dive deeper, and we'll see. I don't know. I guess so. What are your personal, and I swear this is the last thing, and then we'll get into it, and we'll start actually talking about stuff. But again, episode 1, what are your goals for the podcast, just in general? Why, like, we say why we're doing it, but what are our goals going forward?
I feel like, you know, connecting with a wider I don't know, folks, even if it's just friends or whatever that looks like, connecting with folks around, you know, material that, like I said, maybe doesn't always have the critical literary lens applied to it. But again, as I previously stated, like, we know that that's really what's going on here. So I think about the amount of times that I, like, have read something or even played a video game or something that, like, has given me, like, a genuine emotional reaction from, like, anger to joy to sadness or whatever it is. And, like, I don't know, I'm excited to, like, get into that and then have the opportunity to talk about why I felt that or what brought that thing, you know. So just excited to, like, I guess, talk about stuff and
I think it's important to note too, and again, these things are getting more popular, so there's less and less of these kind of people. But there are still people that view like certain video games, certain movies or TV shows, or even like D&D, like don't view them as a medium that can be as like powerful or I guess legit maybe in their mind. You know, they might think of these things as like a waste of time.
Yeah.
And I always try to think, I'm like, these people don't understand like how profound some of these stories and collections of games or, you know, movies or even the stories like that my friends from back home that we play D&D with, the amount of story, we have years and years of playing this game and we have so many stories behind it, and it's like people just don't realize how cool this can be. And it is definitely not a waste of time. We would not be making a podcast otherwise. But yeah, I was just excited to have a creative outlet once a week where we could just do this kind of thing. I feel antsy at times that I want to like do something or create something, and I get those waves of like getting real into something and wanting to create something, but then it's like, you know, life happens and you got to do other things that are more important. But I feel like when having a friend to do it with, this will be a great creative outlet that we can do every week. And not only that, but I think a goal is we do want to stream at some point. So these are every Monday that we're going to put out every Monday night. And I mean, that could change, subject to change. But
that's the goal for now.
Yeah, that's the goal for now.
Weekly Monday.
And we would like to have streaming sessions. So whether that looks like this, where we're just talking to people in real time and having like almost like a podcast episode or session like you're seeing here, but we can actually have a chat up and talk to people. Or that even could look like we could watch a movie together and we real time critique it, give our thoughts on it, or we play a video game together, even something that you guys listening recommend to us. We should be like, hey, this Friday night we're gonna stream that, you know, and we'll give that movie a go, or that sort of thing. I personally want that to happen. If we could get that to happen once a week, it might not be the same day, like every week, but I think that would be really fun.
I think we'll do it.
So yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to add before we?
In terms of housekeeping, I feel like that sums it up. And in general, just excited to have many chats around our niche interests.
About everything. It's funny looking at this list of. I was like, all right, I need to remember we're talking about video games, movies and TV, D&D, tabletop gaming, books and comics. I'm like, well, this is just pretty much everything. So I'm excited to talk about everything. Yeah. I guess we can start here. Enough of the formalities out of the way.
Yeah, I think part of what we talked about was launching into either like a hot take or a like hot topic maybe. At this stage, did you have anything you wanted to start with?
Yeah, I guess we can go current events. You know, I wore the Pikachu shirt for a reason. I wanted to discuss, to bring to the table today, the new... I just feel like this happens every year, every couple of years. Just the new developing Pokemon sphere that is these new games coming out. And I think it was just this week, or maybe last week, I forget. It's been recent. For Pokemon ZA, I think that's what it's called. It's to the point where I'm like ignoring it because I'm getting so pissed off.
I think it's Pokemon Legends ZA. Legends ZA. I've been calling it Legenza because I feel like that's more fun.
All right, they not only announced more info on the game itself, but they announced a DLC for the game, and the game's not even out yet. That to me, I think is crazy. But not only that, some of the, I guess, gameplay, or so they're having like, they're having new megas, mega evolutions, which is like so frustrating to see one pop up every like couple days, and they just butcher a new design of like a mega whatever it is. I know. I think the first one we talked about was like Dragonite. That was like one of the.
That one took the table.
Yeah,
people were talking.
But I think the DLC some of the megas are locked behind that paywall. Like, you have to have the DLC. So, like, your whole point from the very beginning, the catchphrase is gotta catch them all. And you're telling me I have to buy
They said
a DLC right off rip to catch them all like that. Oh my god!
They said for $29.99, gotta catch them all.
And then those they have. I don't know if you saw they have Mega Raichu, and there's like different ones. I think they look terrible. I don't know.
I think they look terrible.
I think they look so bad.
I took one look. Maybe I should pull up the pictures again, but yeah, it's
it like one has, because there's two different kinds, right? There's like an X and a Y, which I'm confused because they're going back to that region. I think that is in X and Y.
Is that?
I think that's like.
Is that the region or generation that the Mega Evolutions debuted in? Do you know? Do you know when Mega Evolutions hit the scene?
Man, I really should know that. Should I?
It
might. It honestly might be. I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry, but continue.
Yeah, but anyway, there's two different Raichus, and one has like a huge tail X looking thing, and then one has like a Y looking like ears or something, or fluff. I don't know. I see people talking about like, oh, like Nintendo has to, there's a lot of fan art out there and they can't like technically use art that's already being used through like fan art. And like that to me just kind of sounds like bullshit. Like, you're telling me the big bad Nintendo that shoots down any sort of like knockoff game that to ever exist is going to worry about like some Joe Schmo just whipping up a couple drawings, and like I feel like Nintendo's the kind of should be able to just make a cooler design, and I don't know. I really don't know what's going through their head with the new Megas, and it's been frustrating me.
I mean, it seems like it's very central. I have been avoiding a lot of news around this game because I've been tapped out for Pokemon for a couple generations.
Yeah. And I have too, honestly, and that's the sad part is that was a huge part of my childhood, and like I still enjoyed it. Like, for example, I'll extend the olive branch, the Sword and Shield era.
Yeah.
Those were Switch games. I thought those were, like, good. I enjoyed myself with, like, Sword and Shield. But a lot of these new games, and I think the most frustrating part, and I feel like I just sound like somebody who's just stuck in the past, but the worst part is now we have, like, a home console that you can play on the TV, and we have the ability to make a good Pokemon game, and they won't do it. And I think it's to the point where I know we talked about this before in our previous recordings. I just, like, for my own mental health, I have to just take a step back and just be like, I need to accept that I might not like the games from here on out, and I should just enjoy the ones that I've already played and play like fan games, for example, like the different ROM hacks that people make. And that might just be the extent of it, to be completely honest. I don't know. Maybe that's why the competitive scene is like pretty big, because it's like, at that point you're not even focusing on like the main storyline of the game. It's more like strategy, turn-based strategy. So like, maybe I could see that.
But. Well, when you say that they haven't been good, because I agree. I feel like there's something to, and we're part of the same demographic. We're 20-something, young men, pushing 30 maybe is how I'll frame that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we really did. There was such a sweet spot there achieved with some of those games, and I reflect so fondly being a child playing like, Gold and Silver, and playing especially like Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. I feel like Emerald, I remember so vividly the excitement of that and confronting Rayquaza and like all of that. However, I feel like what are you looking for? Like, what would make one of these games a good Pokemon game? Or do you feel like the issue is so fundamental to the foundation of these games?
So the first time where I felt, and again, it's big because it's console, right? Like, we could have a serious AAA console game for Pokemon, and you even look back to like Pokemon. Was it Coliseum or Pokemon Coliseum XD
Stadium maybe or Coliseum?
Yeah, Coliseum XD and all that. Like that was actually a console game that like everybody loved. It put a new twist on the game, but still held the catching Pokemon, evolving them, leveling up. It's essentially a grinding game from start to finish.
Yeah.
I would like to see kind of a mix of maybe like Sword and Shield kind of gave us there's like an open roaming area sort of ordeal. So I do like having that. But again, they had like the Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
That to me, like, it was cool. And I did get that game, and going out and catching Pokemon in like a vast like place, I guess, was cool. But the shine worn off of that so quick. Like, after 20 minutes of doing that, I was like, all right, well, I need actual substantial gameplay to I guess enjoy it. My perfect scenario would be, and they would even treat it as like a spin-off game, but we all know the Pokemon spin-off games are like incredible. Like, you have like the Mystery Dungeon games. Yeah, you had like Ranger and like all those different. You could even say the Pokemon Coliseum and Stadium were like spin-offs, you know. I would love for them to go back to like like, we'll take Emerald for example. So Ruby and Sapphire Emerald. Take that 2D experience and keep it pixelated and make a substantially like harder and longer Pokemon game with that format. So just think of Pokemon Emerald but made now, and think about how much they could fit into a game and keep the exact like 2D format of that. I think like, and that's why I've been liking these ROM hacks, because that's what people do. And I'm like, if Nintendo could make one of those, I think that'd be really cool.
Something about the transition to 3D, I think, is where they lost me, which is so wild, because I remember being a child like so vividly like wanting that, and like playing open world games and being like, the concept of this but Pokemon is so exciting. And then I feel like it hit, and maybe because, and I know they're not necessarily linear, like to my knowledge the last one that came out, Scarlet and Violet, you can do everything in any order, to my knowledge. Like, you can kind of bounce around, and it's not as linear as some of those early games, which I like. Yeah. But I think maybe it's missing something that I don't have the words for in this moment. Yeah. But it could be so much better. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the world is like very barren, which doesn't help. Because when you give people that like sense of adventure, and it's like, yeah, you can go anywhere you want. Then it's like, well, the world there has to be like things to interact with and like have that adventurous kind of spirit to the game in the world itself. So if it's all just kind of barren and there's nothing to do but just catch the Pokemon, it gets boring pretty quick. At least I felt. I couldn't even finish Violet, or I got Scarlet. And they did the thing with like the huge Pokemon. You had to go and like, you had these like tasks that weren't gyms, and you had to like go like defeat the big Pokemon. It just, I don't know, it all felt, it was so easy. Like, assembling my team of like new Pokemon, I tried to use like the generation specific for the new games, and I don't think I had a Pokemon faint like once, and I was like 4 badges in. And I was like, this is I don't know. And again, then it's like, yeah, we're pushing 30.
We are, hey.
And this is like, they want kids to buy it. So it's like, that might just be, we might be past our time.
which is hard, honestly, because there's stuff like, you know, and I'm sure there are many a X-Men conversation on the horizon about my dissatisfaction with those comics right now. And part of it is like, I have a strong connection to what this once was, and it will never be that again. And part of it is like accepting that, but it's also frustrating because you and I are both creatives to a degree, and like sometimes I look and I'm like, I feel like if I was in the room and I could just offer a little bit of like perspective, this could deliver and still be new and still be fresh, but like deliver on something. I don't know. For Pokemon, I'm less familiar with how things have been recently. I did watch I watched my man play Arceus, and I loved that one. I did love that game, like conceptually, and I watched him make it really far in it. And I feel like maybe it came from just like there was like a different time period, like there was something.
They went back in time,
and maybe that's what I like about like when I think about like Ranger and Mystery Dungeon, like the success of those partially comes from the fact that it is so fundamentally off from what the mainline games we played were. we couldn't compare Pokemon Ranger to like Pokemon Silver. You know what I mean? Like, so
Definitely
that's where maybe they just got to do something new. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pull it to a conclusion. I'm just like hypothesizing like what would a Pokemon game need to do to break this,
satisfy all people that grew up with it and kids alike now still trying to get the game. Yeah, it is kind of a hard thing when you think of it that way. Arceus, I thought they did put it, like, I liked Arceus better than Scarlet.
Yeah.
But again, I almost maybe just adding difficulty. That would be nice, like having an easy, medium, hard mode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And doing I mean, Nuzlocks are so popular. Like, and so the fan community has been so centered on those. I think because there's a recognition of, like, I mean, this is not difficult if you don't do it this way. And maybe this is where Nintendo doesn't want to take from the fans because they don't want to get sued. But like, I'm like maybe y'all could just like integrate that into the game itself, and you could go Nuzlocke difficulty. Yeah, and would be cool. You don't have to manage that yourself, even just as a way to like introduce difficulty to the younger audience too.
Yeah, the thing that is a little frustrating to like the average person about Nuzlocking is, if anyone listening has ever done it, they know that once you have Pokemon that faint, and you have to like box them or release them or whatever, you can't use them again. If you don't have, like, if you're not using an emulator and you're not using cheats to have rare candies for Pokemon that you stored into the box to then get them to the level that you're at now, it's just unnecessary grinding.
That makes sense.
So, like, you catch the first Pokemon of every route that you're in, and that's who you have for the rest of the game. So you only have, like, 20 Pokemon or something to use. So, yeah, you pull a Pidgey out of the box at level 5 that you caught way back when, and all your Pokemon are level like 35. It's like, well, this is just excruciating to
grind and level up.
So that is something that I could see putting people off. It's because, like, even myself, I haven't done any like emulation or any of that kind of stuff until recent years. Because I don't know, I just never. It was one of those things where it wasn't plug and play. It wasn't I could just buy the game, put it in my Switch or Game Boy or whatever it is and play. So I'm getting better with that now. But yeah, I think you have to like emulate and cheat for rare candies to play a Nuzlocke effectively. Which could be a barrier. But the way I've been holding myself over is, and again, I think I realized like maybe it's just past my time and it's for a different generation. That's fine. What have I never done growing up in the Pokemon space? So I have actually never completed the Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. Never 100%ed it or even beat like most of the things. I actually never had a Nintendo 64 until recently, like years ago when I finally got one. I have been playing like Gold and Silver, like Gen 2 games, Crystal. I guess Pokemon Yellow too is what I played. I've been replaying through them because I don't know how familiar you are with the Pokemon Stadium games. They are actually very difficult to 100%.
I've heard that.
And because the rental Pokemon that you can use in there like suck.
Yeah.
They'll give Charizard like Ember. And like, like I guess not Peck, it'd be like Wind Attack or something. I don't know. But they give the evolved basic Pokemon basic moves, I think, to incentivize for you to transfer your Pokemon from your games to the console. So I've been doing that.
I did have that game when I was a kid, and I never did the transfer, I think because I didn't technologically understand. And then, I don't remember why I didn't do it, but like in hindsight, way ahead of its time. Really, really cool. Like I think they did a remake of it for the Wii. Am I remembering that correctly? And you could transfer your stuff into that game.
Was it... what was that called? It was like Battle... It was like Pokemon Battle something.
Battle Revolution. Yeah. And I love Diamond and Pearl. Maybe that's problematic. I don't know. I don't know what the vibe is on that right now, but I love that.
I've always seen you either love, like you defend it, or you're just like, it's not that great. Like people are like, it's overrated sort of thing. So I don't know. I like Diamond and Pearl. Honestly, everything up to White and Black I liked those games, so it was at Gen 5. I think 1 through 5 are perfect.
Yeah.
I'll take any of them. I'll take any of the generations. Gen 2 is my favorite. That could be a hot take, I don't know. I've noticed the older you are, the more people would say Gen 2 is the best gen.
Yeah.
And then, depending on age, then it'll go... Nobody will say Gen 1's the best one. Because they just know it's not. I mean, I'll admit it. The nostalgia, maybe, but...
I think a lot of people would say that.
It's always 3. It depends on your age. If you're older, so like maybe more our age, born in like the 90s, you go with Gen 2. Because that's kind of like the first game that you could play.
Yeah.
Like when I was ripping Red and Blue as like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, whatever it was, I barely knew what I was doing. And then once Gen 2 came out, I could comprehend more what was going on.
Yeah.
I could actually read more. Yeah, so I think then when you're people maybe 5-6 years younger than us will say Gen 3 is their best, their favorite. And then there's the people that love Diamond and Pearl, then below them. And then even to White now. I mean, White and Black, it's like, younger you get, that was their game. That was their Gen 2.
Yeah.
So I can't fault them at that. But I think 1 through 5 are perfect. I think they're all great games, and I would play any of them.
The real villain in all this is Nintendo's greed. Hate to say, but like even again, this is stuff that I feel like I'm gonna look into after we're off the podcast maybe. But like the frequency between these games, I feel like was not yearly, and I don't know what the gap was, but I don't think it was yearly. And I just feel like when you're releasing, although I don't know if it's currently yearly, right? Maybe they do every 2 years. Maybe I'm.
Recently, they've been they're way more frequent now.
Yeah.
Than they were.
And that's mainly my point. Is just like with that, which I understand. I mean, we got to make money. This is not an anti-capitalist podcast yet, but we have to make money, and that's what the goal is. But like, there is just naturally going to be less innovation and less improvement between games when you're increasing frequency like this. And like, the leap from, the Alola games to Scarlet, I'm sure is really significant. But game to game, you don't feel that because there's not as much of a leap, you know?
That's a good point. Yeah, back in the day, you'd be on like wikis like you were talking about with like people like speculating is there leaks to the new Pokedex. Like I remember for Diamond and Pearl going online and trying to see like if people leaked the new Pokedex yet, and because there was a huge amount of time before those games, and that's kind of lost now. The hype of it's like we're desensitized
totally,
so and
all the features, Mega Z Evolution.
The Megas were so cool when they came out, and I still think it's a great idea. And it's just the designs. I love Megas. It's just the new designs are not great.
Thoughts
like
on
Victory Bell I think that's the worst one.
You think it's like you're like offended by it?
Anybody listening, look up if you're a Pokemon fan. Look up the Mega Victory Bell.
Yeah,
I think that is one of the worst Megas I've ever seen in my life. I don't know.
I feel like it did its job in getting a reaction, which I feel like was the goal. But I was gonna ask because you said you like Sword and Shield. Thoughts on Dynamaxing? Because I feel like that's where I was like, we lost the plot a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, I was not big on Dynamaxing at all. Also, it did make it easier, right? So like I had I should really know the Score Bunny, the rabbit, the Fire Rabbit, whatever he evolves in, Cinder Race or something like that.
Yep.
You would just Dynamax him and use his like soccer fireball punt, and it would just kill anything.
And it like ends the match. You're done.
I was like, all right, like this is like I got the fucking 5 cards of Exodia that I can just pull out at any time and just be like, all right, you're done.
Yep.
I wasn't too big on the Dynamax. I think Megas were perfect and they should have stuck it there. The new Scarlet with they're wearing like a fucking crystal chandelier on their head. Oh my god!
What's that feature called? No,
terrestrializing or something.
Yeah. No, and they're gonna come up with 6 more shitty, unnecessary things in our lifetime. I mean, maybe that's pessimistic.
One of them could hit.
They may crack the code, and like I said, I feel like the key is, and this is not the answer that the market wants to hear. Mm-hmm. You got to take like 5 years off, like, and that is not that's not what anybody wants to hear. Yeah. But
they could have something in development. Who knows?
I don't know.
Like take Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And like. Take that, so, they took years to make that game. Like, really make a AAA title game with the franchise. It can be completely different. Yeah. Like, they could even, like, again, because we love a spinoff. Mystery Dungeon is, like, easily top 3 Pokemon game of all time for me.
I think if they really, like, put it all into, like, a AAA Pokemon Ranger 2026. Like, I feel like that could shake the table. Like, if
a new Ranger game.
Just really, and really, I mean, they have people making a gajillion dollars innovating, like, gameplay modes. So, like, going from the stylus, capture to something that the Switch could capture. I mean, it's possible.
Oh, yeah. No, I honestly, I think there's so much backlash when they change things, when they're trying to still keep the same formula, right? People have never been pissed about a spin-off game because everybody knows, okay, this game, they're not trying to do what they normally were doing.
Right.
But when you make a game where it's still like 50-60% the same shit, get 8 badges, beat the Elite Four, but then in that format you try to like have these weird unnecessary things, that's when it gets frustrating. I feel like that's when people get outraged. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I'm completely fine if they do something off the walls. I would rather that than the whole Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
I will give credit, though. The whole more like open world aspect is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. I just think the actual content of the games like are lacking because they had to focus so much on making like an open world. And again, they probably pumped it out too fast. And so
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm just spewing too much Pokemon.
Listen, this is not the last time I think that we're gonna get into.
I figured that'd be a perfect episode 1. Like, what are some current events going on right now?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I gotta bitch a little bit about Pokemon. What'd you say? What? Your nickname for the game?
Legenza,
yeah. It's Pokemon Legenza. Like, I have to bitch.
If I can't have fun with the game, I'm gonna have fun saying its name.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Or not excited for that. Sorry. I'm looking at Ghost of which I should really look up how to pronounce it. It's like Yotei.
Oh yeah.
The new Ghost of Tsushima game that's coming out on October 2nd. So it's actually a couple weeks now. I'm excited for that. I thought Ghost of Tsushima was one of the best open, I'll put in quotes, like the open world games in recent years.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people agree. And so I don't know. I don't really have too much to say about it. I'm just very excited. Mm-hmm. I finished the first one this year. I took kind of some years off of, those types of games, and I got back into it. And that was like my first game back into like those type of single player games, and I loved it. So yeah. I'm very excited for the second one. It should be great. So yeah, I don't know. What are you bringing to the table this week?
This week, I wanted to bring, or just talk about a book that I was revisiting recently that I'm a huge fan of. And it's one of the things that I was, when I was like on the school bus and I was like going to and from and I was like having people like read some stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, something that I think really connected to people that aren't typical comic book people and controversial, not universally liked, but really, I used to be on forums defending this stuff. So, that's that. But first, kind of not less controversial for the people watching, Avengers Academy. It's a book that came out in like probably 2009, 2010. Basically, it's what it sounds like. The Avengers have a school for what's it called, like teen heroes. And they're training them to be the next Avengers. The hook of the book is they're told... The hook of the book.
I like that. The hook of the book.
Write that down.
The hook of the book.
The hook of the book is that these kids are told when they enter, they're picked up from their various circumstances and told that they're going to be the next generation of Avengers, you're going to be the heroes of tomorrow. In reality, these young people have been identified as most likely to become the supervillains of the next generation. And so this is essentially a I don't want to say scared straight. That's not what it is. It's like troubled
They're in detention.
it's like a troubled youth program. Like these are kids that are likely to be the supervillains who, the next generation of Avengers are fighting. So this is a way to maybe get them. So anyway, this book is
rehabilitation.
Yeah, and they don't even know, and they find out, and there's drama that like they were here because they're at-risk teens essentially. Yeah. But really fantastic book. I mean, like it really gets into like some of the stuff that I love the most about like teen hero stuff. I love X-Men, so that's always really present in like modern X-Men stuff. Is there's usually a teen perspective. But this, like, I really feel like they did it. That's a signed copy also by
Mike
I was
going to say, you got the
artist.
The artist.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Got him to sign that at a convention recently. It was like maybe 3 years ago.
Is this like a Red Skull guy?
No, his name is Metal, but he has like a
bronze or something.
A metal skin, and yeah, it's really, really fantastic, like characters, characters that I think like really hold up to this day, for the most part. Yeah. And some of them choose villainy, which is also interesting. Like in the end of the book, like there's
really wow,
they're not all steered clear of that path because ultimately.
I mean, it makes sense.
And even the book comments on like that line is so arbitrary. Like at one point, the characters in the book have to. There's some sort of like Red Skull takeover happening. So there's like Nazis all over the place, and they're dispatched and they're told like
dinosaur at one point.
Oh yeah, no reptile can turn into dinosaurs. Is his power. But the characters, while they're fighting the forces of Red Skull. I mean, they're there just to evac people. They're told like don't do anything super wild, but they see like Nazis just killing people in the streets. So then one of them, Metal, actually kills one of them, and so does Vale, one of the girls. And the book does not. I mean, it comments on it, and you see these characters like wrestling with like, can I kill people and still be a hero? Like I had to save people, but also like that line is often used to determine who's a hero and who's a villain, so like it doesn't answer it leaves it up to the reader. I feel like it really respects the reader. It's a great book. It's also not what I'm recommending. This is the preamble to the true recommendation.
So what's the all right, so this is controversial.
Which is controversial. It is Avengers Arena, and this book came out in 2012, and it is the pitch is easy.
Murder World.
16 superpowered teenagers from the Marvel Universe are put in a Hunger Games situation. One gets to leave. And this directly followed this feel-good, amazing book. They took 5 characters from this, some characters from other parts of Marvel, a lot of pre-existing characters.
Right here.
Hazmat
right
is... Yeah. And, I mean, this is... For the viewers, the opening of the book is day 29 of 30, and Hazmat is not in a good place.
No.
And Wolverine's clone is here. She joins Avengers Academy. X-23.
No,
she was in Logan. She's a little girl. Wolverine.
Oh, she's the. Oh, okay. I do know that. I didn't watch Logan like front. I've seen like 30 minutes or something.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
I should probably watch
it.
I should probably watch it.
But. Every issue is a different POV of a different character. Sometimes in your POV issue, you die. And I'm not going to comment on how many characters make it out of this situation, but it is the supervillain literally says in the intro, like, when I was in jail last time, they gave me Hunger Games, and that's why you're all here. And it's luck of the draw. He says the X-Men school, their security was too good, so I couldn't get any kids from there, but the Avengers, I was able to get in there and kidnap you for this. And it is gut-wrenching. It is violent. It is so controversial. I mean, especially because some characters in that, they're not like Captain America or Iron Man who have died in the comics, and then you get to come back and whatever. They're characters that died in this book from 2012 that have not re-entered publication. And because they're, like C-list, D-list comic book characters.
Crazy.
But I feel like there's a lot of room to navigate within that. So
also, completely side note here, they really just having the cat lady in a thong at all times.
Hey, listen, Tigra has been an Avenger since the 80s, and does she need to be?
That's her work outfit.
That's what
she's going to work.
She's a teacher.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She's
for people not who can't see this. It is a Catwoman straight up, just in like lingerie, walking around
in a real scant bikini. But and not to excuse the depiction of women in comics. Too. If you were covered in fur, would you be wearing a turtleneck?
True.
What would your
true.
But no, it's a really, really fantastic book. It is demented. The main character or the main villain is Arcade, who you might know. It's like a classic Marvel villain.
Arcade.
His
Again, I like MCU is like probably 90% of my knowledge.
Yeah.
Of Marvel. Which I know there's that probably doesn't even scratch the surface.
Yeah, it's a great intro, but
I think it did great for getting more people into the comic book world. I'm sure the MCU.
Yeah, for sure.
Even like the Batman movies and stuff. For DC stuff, for comic books in general. I
always like, I never fault like people for like enjoying the MCU. The MCU as it currently exists is not for me, and that's like completely, I think it speaks to maybe what we were talking about a little earlier, but like I would love to see some of this stuff adapted. I would love to see some of this stuff adapted as cartoons, because I feel like then you remove some of the actor politics of some of this stuff. The
fights are better
because
animation always has better fights,
but I feel like it would be such a like, and animation, I mean, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as like $1 billion MCU movie. So like
hiring Chris Pratt
for
3 movies, 5 movies.
I don't know. I would love to see something like this adapted, because like I said, I recognize like this isn't the most popular comic, but I feel like when it was coming out, I recognized uniquely, I would be going to school, I'd be on the bus, and like this came out monthly. And I had like people that were like, is the next issue out yet? You know what I mean? Like there were people who were excited and would never probably go into a comic book store or like, seek this out on their own. But like, we're following this from start to finish. And like,
that's cool.
I feel like that's again, the power of this sort of thing. So I really I love both these books for very different reasons, and I appreciate the perspective. But yeah, I just was very intrigued by and I've been rereading this a little bit lately, so I wanted to get into that a little bit.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. So this is the official recommendation of this week.
Official recommendation. Wow. We're gonna do Avengers Arena. It's bloody. It's not like that bad. It's just, if you can watch the Hunger Games, you can definitely deal with this book. So, and the covers are all, if you've ever seen Battle Royale, this is directly inspired. This cover is inspired by Battle Royale.
Oh wow.
And then every cover for the first arc is images from media that inspired this. So like Clockwork Orange, right? Have you ever seen the poster for Clockwork Orange? Lord of the Flies.
Okay. I do know.
Oh, there's like the Hunger Games logo, as an Avengers logo.
Wow, that's awesome.
All the covers, like I said, this book was made by people who have attention to detail, and
so there are people shitting on this. This is controversial.
Oh man, let me tell you something. The hate comments are coming. I can feel you. It was like a Lord of the Flies reference cover,
Yeah.
But they knew what themes they wanted to convey and really get into, and themes around even none of these kids would be here, or most of these kids wouldn't be here if the larger superhero ecosystem didn't exist. Yeah. And so there's commentary about that, and if you're going to run a program where you are picking up kids and putting them into situations where they have to engage in these really arbitrary, sometimes hero-villain dynamics, they might get picked up by a serial killer with the power to put them all into a Hunger Games arena, and that's, and whose fault is that? And the heroes that, run the school have to reckon with that. This is ultimately our fault. We have failed all these kids. And again, really fantastic.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
That's my recommendation.
Wow,
just
recommendation.
Expect me to yap about more comics on here. But
I feel you have to go with a Marvel comic
from the outset.
Yeah. I also kept mine simple, play to my strengths here for my recommendation of the week. I know I've kind of talked to you about this before. I'm pretty sure. But I love platformer games because growing up, again, PlayStation stan. I was big into Crash Bandicoot. I have 100%ed all three.
Yep.
I had them 100%ed on the PlayStation 1. I also have them 100%ed on, like, they did the remake, like the remaster of the games, which I was so amped when they came out with that.
Yeah.
But as big into Crash Bandicoot as I am, and it was like a big part of my gaming life at one point, and I always, probably yearly, I always go back and kind of like play some Crash here and there. They came out, and I want to say it was like during COVID. I think it was during COVID time. Around that time, they came out with Crash 4. It's About Time.
Yes.
So that is now technically, I'm pretty sure, it's the newest Crash that they've made. And it's technically supposed to be, because they've had a bunch of games since, like a ton of games. I mean, they've even had games for the Game Boy Advance and stuff for Crash, which I also played. But that first, like, the first three, right?
Yeah.
So, first one was just Crash Bandicoot. I forget the name of the second one. And then it was Warped was the third one.
Yes.
Cortex Strikes Back, that's what it was, the second one. So those were, like, technically the three Crash Bandicoot games. And I guess canonically, or something with how the developers define it, this now technically Crash 4 is supposed to be, like, that's why they named it Crash 4. It's About Time, because it's like it took them that long to make the fourth game, I guess.
We love double entendres on this podcast.
Yes, oh yes. And I just want to go on record by saying I think it's the best Crash Bandicoot game ever made.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's rare. I feel like I was already bitching about how games
say.
aren't like Gen 2 Pokemon anymore that came out in like 2000, right? I feel like I do get the nostalgia bug. There are times where I will just innately think things are better because it's nostalgic for me. But I truly think this Crash 4 game is the best Crash that's like to ever exist. It has they've added new mechanics to the game, so there are these different, like I think his name's like Aku. He's the mask.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you get him, he's like boom boom. He's like, which I would do that all. I would run around the house as a kid.
It's your vocal stem.
Yeah, and so there's more of these like tiki masks, and they have like different powers that greatly change how you play the game. And I will say it makes the game like more challenging, I guess you could say, which is really nice. And that's kind of what was making me annoyed with Pokemon, for example. It can still be played by kids, and you can still complete the main game in a very low level way and just get through the levels in a certain way. And a kid, someone who's 10, 12 right now picking the game up could play it and enjoy it. But then if you want to, oh my God, I have a goal to 100% the game. I know it's going to be probably the hardest game I've ever played. Yeah. Like it is, I can already tell, and I've 100%ed the first three, and I know, and they are notoriously hard to do. Anybody listening who's ever tried that, any of those games, that is a notorious hard game to 100%. This Crash 4, I can already tell, makes those look easy. That's how hard it is to 100% this game. And I think, no, it's not I think, I know, the hardest part about 100%ing a Crash Bandicoot game is that you need to get you can do relics on every level, which is like a time relic. So what happens is after you've played the level, you can try to earn a relic, and there's 3 types of relics. There's like a sapphire colored one, a gold one, and then like a platinum one. And I forget how it is for this new one, but all the other games it was you had to get gold or higher on the time for each level. So every single level in the game. And to get that time, you're essentially speed running the game. So like every level you have to be as fast as you can possibly play the level.
Like completely
And you
optimized.
have to do that for every single level. Which that's what makes even the original games hard to 100%. And I am like dreading and also excited for the day where I finally, because I've already beat the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should 100% this. And then once I really dove into like all the achievements and what those time relics, and I'm telling you, these levels with the masks, you can like flip gravity, you can like phase in and out of stuff. Yeah, that brings a harder element to it. It is a very cool game. There's a lot of substance in it. There's all these different types of like little mini levels that you can play through these VHS tapes, and it is awesome. I can't stress enough. If you're somebody who's listening, that used to, play Crash or you've even heard of it and you enjoyed them in the past, and I know there's a lot of people that still have not even picked up this game, even though they do like Crash Bandicoot games from the past. One day, if you're feeling it, I that would be my recommendation. It is incredible. But again, you have to like those kind of games.
Yeah.
To
platform. It's like one of the definitive platformers in my mind. Like, I think it's like, especially to still be as iconic as it is. Like, I mean, people have been waiting for like the fourth game, but like there was like a 20-year gap between the releases, right?
Yeah.
Like, 3 and 4. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And again, like I said, there was and then all the different games that they came out in between were kind of almost like spin-offs, right? I loved the CTR Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, that's
I love that game. So yeah, I mean, they had other games, but this is the perfect example of taking an older franchise, modernizing it, obviously adding new mechanics in that like new hardware that you're now making games for can handle this, but still keep the essence of the game. Like for example, if people ask me about Pokemon or any of these sort of games, like if you were like a Fallout player, right? Or I'm just trying to think of a franchise where they had like older games and then they made like newer ones, or even like Elder Scrolls, right?
Yeah.
If people ever argue about like, oh, the nostalgia is just blinding you, no, my argument would be, look at how they did Crash 4. That is the blueprint for if you're taking a franchise and modernizing it, that's how you do it. 100%. I think they killed it. I have not seen, and again, this is extremely biased, and I'm sure we will be saying many extremely biased things.
I never said I wasn't biased.
It was extremely biased. But this is by far the best I've ever seen a developer do it. Like, hands down. I think it's perfect. And that would be my recommendation. Go for Crash 4. It's about time. It's a great game.
Crash 4.
If you've never played Crash Bandicoot games, I would not... yeah, you can even start with it, honestly. I would recommend do the remaster of the originals, because that's just cool to do. But you could even start with this game, but... if you're a platformer and you're like, yeah, you know what, I've been trying to get around to that. Yeah. I would recommend it. It's amazing.
Like the remaster, I have played the remaster off your recommendation, and I feel like even that first one, it is really effectively brought up to date. Like it doesn't feel like a 25-something year old game. So yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's my recommendation. And for people listening, we're always going to be giving a recommendation every week. Not only is this to maybe, like, for us. So, like, I feel like this one was, first episode is kind of general. Yeah. We just want to get our first episode out and feel how we really want to do this podcast. Eventually, we'll probably be making specific recommendations. Like, I'm like, you, Derek, specifically. Yeah. But even you guys listening, please comment. Like things that you would like to recommend people, because we would love to hear that kind of stuff, and we want to do it once a week, right? So every week we're gonna have recommendations. So give us any and all your super biased opinions. And that could just be enough to be like, you know what, I've been meaning to try that, and I'm gonna go for it this week. So
the whole thing is a vehicle to talk about things you like or don't like, so I feel like that's the take or leave recommendations, but if something piques your interest, I feel like that's why we're talking about it. That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, did you want to do a little like listicle today?
Yeah, I thought again, this episode is very bare bones. We haven't done too much. This is just kind of getting our feet wet. Next week's I'm sure will be, more like a legit episode. But yeah, I think it's fun to do these sort of like little games that we give each other. I kind of know what you love and know about, so like let's put it to the test, sort of thing.
Exactly.
So do you want me to do you first, or are you gonna? Do you have a list, or what do you want?
If you wanna go first, you can.
All right. So I'm keeping it easy for you, and this is right down the gut. This is Watch Mojo's top 10 Marvel comic superheroes. That is how they title it. They specifically said comic book superheroes.
Top 10.
Top 10.
All right. Well,
this is their here, I'll read it to you. They are the best that Marvel has to offer.
Oh, Marvel. Okay.
Yes, specifically Marvel comic book heroes.
Are we doing I get 3 wrong and then you're just gonna read me the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say we do that. So there's 1 through 10.
I'm gonna eliminate.
And even if you can. It's okay if you don't get what number, but you can even try to guess, like, I think number 1 is going to be this or something.
I think 1 is Spider-Man.
You're correct. It is Spider-Man. Yeah, it is number 1.
I'm gonna say, Captain America is on the list.
Yes, he is at 4.
4. Thor.
Thor is on the list at 6.
6. Iron Man. We're gonna close out that trinity.
Iron Man is number 3.
Yeah. So 2, Wolverine.
Yep. It is Wolverine. All right.
That felt obvious. Sorry.
Yes. So you have 1 through 4.
And then Thor at 6.
Thor at 6. Yep.
Can I ask this is there are no rules, but okay. is 5 a woman?
5 is not a woman.
Are there women on this list?
There is not a woman on this list.
Okay. So just to be clear, this is not my top 10.
No, this is Watch Mojo.
Yeah, Watch Mojo. Watch Mojo. We see you.
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay. Well, hold on. So, Hulk is on here.
Yes, that was 5.
Yeah. Hulk, and then
I thought you were gonna get those no problem. 7 through 10. I think. I'm very curious to see what you think about this.
Is Doctor Strange among this?
He is not.
Okay, so that's my first miss.
It's a first strike.
Damn. I'm gonna guess if you're questioning if I'm gonna get it, and these are heroes is the word or characters.
Marvel superheroes.
I'm gonna guess, and this might just be nothing, but Winter Soldier.
No.
Okay. So 2. Damn. I don't know.
It's a weird. I can see one of these being a name that you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, like maybe that makes sense. But 3 of these, I'm very surprised.
Did they say Moon Knight?
They did not say Moon Knight.
Okay.
No.
Damn. Who am I not getting? Because I don't even know.
All right. So number 7. Again, this is crazy to me, and maybe you have some comic enlightenment as to why they. Number 7 is The Thing.
Okay, I know. Whatever.
Is he that big in the Marvel comic universe?
He is
over what's his face over Mr. Fantastic.
Who's also on this list?
No.
Oh,
he's not. Like I'm surprised The Thing.
The Thing, he's like 7. The heart.
Okay.
He's the blue-eyed, ever-loving Thing. I get it. Whatever.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, I'm a 7. 8 is Deadpool.
That
was the name where I was like, I could see him getting that. Number 9 is Daredevil.
Okay, sure.
That's what they have it now.
Sure.
And they even have a little tidbit of each one. Like he first arrived in 1964 as like Daredevil number 1.
Yeah.
Right. And then number 10 is The Punisher.
Okay, all I'm gonna say is like a man made this list, and that's fine. Listen, I'm just commenting on it.
That's great.
Because is the Punisher? I feel like his whole thing is that he's not a hero, right? Like he's on the anti-hero line. Same with Deadpool, kind of. I thought we were going for like more, and I said Winter Soldier, so maybe that's not the same. But like, yeah, I know that would be this list should be 50% woman. No shade. Well, I don't know. I just feel like
the fact that I feel like Storm's a big one.
Storm,
I feel like there should have been more X-Men. At least one other X.
Yeah, Wolverine as like the represent. I would even take Cyclops on this list. I didn't think that someone put Cyclops because okay. stay
like
tuned
Mystique
for
or something.
Yeah,
you know?
stay tuned for Cyclops musings and me getting into the Cyclops of it all. But yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, that's
Watch
their
Mojo.
list. I just, I was like, I'm gonna do something easy and simple for our first episode, but I just started looking up like top 10 Marvel lists.
Is there
And
a
I was
year
like,
on this list? Like a year that they made this?
Let's see. Let's see if the article has a date. No,
If not, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, that's pretty. I mean, for the top like 6 of that, I feel like I could absolutely see cases being made.
I mean,
for,
Spider-Man, I feel like I would have guessed for number 1.
Yeah. Well, I have one list for you, and
right.
I think this one's a little bit more objectively based.
Okay.
But this is in terms of the main series Pokemon games. Having discussed Pokemon today, highest gross revenue for those games, top 10. So just to be clear, before you start guessing, like Platinum is separate from Diamond and Pearl. You know what I mean? So like you're going to be guessing for the same game, if that makes sense. So like Red, Green, and Blue, or Sword
like
and Shield,
if I were thinking Gen 2, I would just say Crystal.
Yes.
Yeah. Which okay. Highest grossing Pokemon games.
Yeah, mainline Pokemon games, top 10.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna throw Emerald on there.
Emerald is actually not in the top 10.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. So the fact that I guessed Emerald, then Ruby and Sapphire are out. Is that what you're saying? Or
No. Those could still be on this, but
right. Man, I don't want to rip another guess, but I feel like those are... So would I guess like Sapphire, or would I say Ruby and Sapphire?
You would say Ruby and Sapphire.
Okay. I'm going to say... I mean, that was the first Game Boy Advance. I'm going to say Ruby and Sapphire.
No.
That is crazy to me. All right. We're going to go... I'm going to go Red and Blue.
That is number 1?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right, that's, holy shit. I can't even believe... All right. I could even see a world, maybe just because we weren't adults when those came out, so I didn't know the economy of everything, but I would just assume with the popularity of those that they would be a lot higher. All right, so Red and Blue are number 1.
You're gonna have to say some things that I think you
don't
you don't like, maybe.
Oh, you know what? We gotta go Switch era, right? So I'm gonna go. I have the 3 strikes. So that's why I'm trying to be safe. Well, I do want to do gold and silver.
Gold and silver.
Yeah.
I believe that's no. Wow. You said you wanted to guess the Switch ones. Just give me give me a few. Now
the
you've hit your 3
ones,
strikes.
I would say like Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. Like I feel like
that is number 7.
7. Okay. I can't believe Red and Blue are at 1, and then Gold and Silver are not even on the list. All right, so then it would go...
Oh, wait, just kidding. Sorry, I was confused. Gold and Silver, this I'm on the video game sales wiki right now.
Oh, okay.
So this is a legit source to my knowledge.
All right.
But
you love a good wiki?
It was hidden. So 1, 2, 3. That was actually... Gold and Silver's 4. Sorry.
Okay, all right. That makes more sense.
You're still in the game. You got one more strike. And then...
So I got Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, and Pikachu at 7.
Eevee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Switch, we're gonna go with I'm just gonna go Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, 2.
Okay. And we're gonna go DS, man. I feel like Diamond and Pearl are in it.
Yes, Diamond and Pearl are... Sorry, it refresh. Diamond and Pearl are 7, 8, 9. They're 10.
Oh, okay. Just making the list.
Just made it.
So we have 1, 4, 7, and 10, and 2. All right, I'm just gonna start listing them. So we're gonna go Legends Arceus.
That is 8.
Okay, and then we're gonna go Sword and Shield.
3.
All right, and then Black and White.
No.
Oh,
no, that one's
okay.
at 12.
All right, yeah, you can just give them to me now. Let's see.
So, in order, highest grossing, Pokemon Red, Green, Blue is number 1.
Yep.
Then Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Sword and Shield at 3. Gold and Silver at 4.
Mm-hmm.
My apologies. X and Y is 5 for 3DS, which is kind of shocking to me.
X and Y over Black and White?
That's kind of shocking to me.
Okay, that is shocking, yeah. If it's the Alolan one, I'm going to be pissed. That's all I'm hearing there. Oh my god.
6 is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The the like
they sold that many? Holy shit.
They sold a lot.
Wow, okay. I mean, I have it, but
and then 7 was Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Mm-hmm.
8 was Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
9 Sun and Moon.
That is ridiculous.
And 10 Diamond and Pearl.
Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are not on that list.
According to
and
the
Sun and Moon are. That's crazy.
According to the video game sales wiki. Yeah,
that's crazy.
No.
When did Ruby and Sapphire come out? Like 2004?
Ruby and Sapphire came out in 2002.
2002? All right, so yeah, our economy wasn't shit yet. No, I'm thinking 2008 might have
Yeah. We beat the housing crisis, but...
Yeah, like 2010, like something coming... That was probably Black and White. That's probably why.
Yeah, that makes sense.
People couldn't afford to buy games.
But yeah, no, but also...
I got a good amount of them.
Something about, like, the gross revenue, I don't know. There's so many factors to something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel
it
like
definitely isn't, like, the most popular. It's
no.
Like, most sold is different.
It's interesting to think about that in terms of, like...
Scarlet and Violet being 2 is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That is pretty nuts. I mean, the Switch, I feel like the Switch in general just needs to be studied with, like, the sales of... The Switch did so good.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me that game, given what it is already second highest. Ever, so.
I mean, they also started to roll out DLC around that time, so I'm wondering how that factors into, like, gross revenue, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. We will get into more lists, and especially around Pokemon. I feel like there's a lot to talk about. So.
Oh yeah, I like those.
With that, I feel like successful first podcast.
First one.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that.
We're officially one of those.
I'm excited to get more into this. We're hoping to upload weekly. Mondays are going to be the day. Is sounding like so. Just stay tuned. Any recommendations or feedback, we're absolutely open to. And any closing thoughts before we?
Yeah, no. Just if you're listening and you made it to the end, thank you. And we're excited to put out good stuff for you guys, and not only for them but for us too. Like I think we're excited for a good time.
Good chat.
It'll be great. So tune in. I guess on what will this be? We're gonna have the video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Our YouTube. I think we'll link everything and everything, right? So you'll see we'll have SoundCloud for the podcast for MP3, and then YouTube. We'll probably make a TikTok.
Yeah.
You'll see us on everything. So we'll link it for you. Try to give us some ideas. Look out for news about us streaming. And enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah. See you next time.
All right. Peace.